Well, it's nacho night, and I'm going to do turkey nachos tonight. They're very good, a little bit healthier option. But I also, of course, because I can't ever stop, I got to make some roasted salmon. So I'm doing this while I make the nachos. But easy. I mean, the oven's already on. Might as well make two things, right? Let's get at it. Great thing about turkey nachos is that it cooks so fast. I mean, the turkey itself. But what I do is, once the browning has sort of happened and I know that everything is cooked through, I just turn the heat all the way down, which is basically low, and I add homemade, of course, or home combined taco seasoning. I always eyeball this, I never measure. You don't really have to drain turkey meat because there's so little fat in it. If this was ground beef, it would be swimming. So I just stir this in a little bit, add maybe a half a cup of water. I kind of gauge it by the color, like the intensity of the color and how it smells. You can always tell if it's weak because it just smells like nothing. But I put some really good spices in there, including one of my favorites, which is smoked paprika from Spain. Alright, a little bit of water, like a half cup. And I'm just going to stir this in. I feel like I might need a little bit more, so I'm going to do a little bit more here. I like really flavorful meat in the taco and the nachos. So I'm going to stir that in, get that nice and moistened and wet. And my oven has come to temp. Great. Okay. And this has just got to simmer for a couple minutes so I know the meat is finished, ready for the nachos. And I can start chopping up my veggies. A couple grape tomatoes from my garden that I grew, very proud of. Actually, jalapenos from a friend's garden. A little bit of extra on that. Got myself an avocado a couple days ago. I wanted to make sure it was properly ripened, so I let it sit out. If you ever get a really, really tough, hard avocado and you want to get it ripe faster, put it in a paper bag or like one of your reusable shopping bags and close the lid, and then overnight what happens is that the fruit actually releases ethylene gas, and that actually promotes the fruit in its ripening process. So you'll get a faster ripening fruit if you just put it inside of a bag. Not plastic, but something that's breathable. That's finished. I do love to grate my own cheese. I did buy one little bag of taco style, as they call it. So it's like a blended, shredded, but then I do add my own. I'm going to show you a trick about cilantro, which I may have shown you before, but basically I'm going to sort this into like a bouquet, basically, of flowers, but it's just leaves. And then once I do that, I'm going to cut the ends and drop them into this glass, which I always keep for my herbs. And the water is going to go right up into that stem. And it's actually going to hydrate this really quickly and become very, very turgid. I love that word. And better for chopping, because sometimes you get like these wilted ones, these wilted herbs, and you go to chop them, they just kind of turn to mush. When they're nice and hardy, like whether it's cilantro or parsley, both things, if you want them very, very healthy and hardy. So when you chop them, they actually chop and they kind of bounce back when you're doing it. And I have some garbanzo beans, and I have red onion, and my little tomatoes and jalapenos, black olive, and yellow pepper. So let me get to chopping, and then we'll start assembling. My floral days come in handy in cooking too. So basically just gather so all the stems point at the same direction. Try to make them even. And whoops. And then I just take my kitchen scissor and slice. If you see anything icky, just get rid of it. Oh, I do want to rinse this first. Okay, so cut all those stems evenly across. did rinse this. It's still soaking wet, which is good because actually the leaves will start to absorb through the leaves, and then the stems will bring water up too. So we'll let those sit for a little bit, and you may even see those start to spring up because they're going to start drawing water up immediately. This is my new ceramic knife I got at Ibisu last week. It's like $4, so it's probably worth it. I like it. I like ceramic knives. They are so sharp, but the problem is they are so sharp. Be careful. All right, tomatoes are done. Okay, jalapenos are done. Need about a third of this onion. Should be good. So what I do is I chop it lengthways and then I chop it across roughly. I like onion a lot, so that's what you get for being of Polish descent. I think my mom used to tell me she used to eat onions like an apple when she was a kid. Sounds awful, but they're good on food, right? Alright. 20 minutes goes by quick. Salmon's done. Very exciting because once this cools down, I'm actually not going to eat this tonight, but what I am going to do, flip it over, peel the skin off, let it cool completely, break it down slightly, and then put it in a container. And then tomorrow I can make salmon salad. Delicious. Love these. Again, totally not necessary to chop these so finely. I like chunks on my food because I like the texture of that. If everything is so tiny and mealy when you put it on top of the nachos, they just kind of turns into like a mess, really. I like looking at it and saying, I see peppers, I see cilantro, I see avocado, cheese. I like the idea that there's rings of tomato, not just salsa glopped on top. It's gonna be really nice. A little kaleidoscope of food. We shan't forget the olives. I like that they're doing olives now with no artificial color. So they're almost like more brown. I mean, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with putting black olives on my fingertips and running around trying to scare people. But now these brown ones, now that I know that they were dyed, kind of makes me sick to my stomach, but I love this. I just cut these in half. Doesn't matter if they're lengthways, long ways, whatever. Rough chop. It only takes a second. Don't think of making food like this as a chore. Think of it as therapeutic. Like, you're actually a part of making your own food. That's kind of great, I think. You like my shirt? I think people may know what this reference is. It's Scrabble. This is your point value if you use a C. And I have some funny stories about t-shirts that I bought in the past that I had no idea what the emblem or whatever meant. I bought a 9 3/4 shirt, which evidently has something to do with Harry Potter. That is not what I thought it meant. All right, now that my salmon is done, I'm gonna bump up the temp on my oven to 425, and then we can do our nachos. I got these nice yellow corn tortilla chips yesterday, at Aldi, of course. They look so good. Actually, now that I open the bag, they smell really nice too. Ooh, they're a nice shape. Read my big mouth. Really good. And not super salty. I have a real problem with most of the tortilla chips out there are so over-salted. These are perfect. Simply nature. Let's go for it. All right, so my tray and my parchment paper. Pour the chips out. Oops. Oh, I didn't beat spill, didn't I? All right. Spread them out evenly. I'll throw these in the oven for like a minute because I want them hot. what will happen is I'll throw the cheese on top, and boom, melts on top. Then we put the other hot, like wet ingredients on. It doesn't get the chips all soggy right away. Works great. Let's throw these in for a second. Okay, it's been like a minute and a half. These are perfect. You do not want to leave these in longer. You don't want to leave these in longer because they will burn so quickly. I've done it multiple times. But now they're nice and warm. So what I'm going to do is put some cheese on them. And one good big fat handful. And that helps kind of just insulate them from all the other ingredients. And then I'm going to put more cheese on top and then more ingredients, and it's going to be amazing. Okay, so here's how I do the logic of nachos. Meat first, because it is the only thing that is cooked already that's going on here. So let's do this. Evenly distributed. Distributed. Okay. Learning the English language as we go. And that looks very nice. Always scrape the tray or the pan, because that's just flavor you're going to miss out on if you don't. Beautiful. Okay. Uneven as hell, so let's just fuss with this for a second. I burned my hand. Great. All right, that's fine. Now, I think I'm going to do some chickpea. Love these things on nachos. I think people forget about putting beans on nachos a lot, and I'm not a refried bean person. I just think it looks like baby food and it's not cute. And it also just wets everything down. So fresh, canned beans are great. I'm going to do some pepper. And remember to get this all over, right around the edges, because you don't want everything concentrated. Otherwise, you're going to end up with wet nachos. Not nice. Onion, my favorite. Delicious. And the jalapeno. It's going to be so good. Fresh from a garden. I love fresh veggies and fresh herbs. Black olive. And tomato on 1/2 only, because we have people who don't like tomato in this house. Oh, it looks so nice. It's like a garden. All right, some little extra cheddar, just to even up. And the extra, what they're calling taco style. Fine. Oh, it looks so good. Why isn't all food like this in restaurants? It's like, it's so easy and so pretty to look at. Why would you not want to eat this? I did chop some chives from the garden, but what I'm actually going to do is add those after I take it out of the oven. Because if I put them in now, they're just going to dry out and turn crinkly and dry and kind of gross. And then I'm going to slice up my avocado and put that across. I do have some salsa that I'm going to throw on here, and also I have sour cream. So let's do it. I'm going to put these in the oven now, and then we are going to show you what it looks like when it's done. Avocado. Let me show you this. Cut down the middle. I think most people know this, but I'm just going to do this because I did see somebody try to peel an avocado recently, and I was mortified. All right, cut the part out that the stem came from, because it's never good. And what I do is this. Slice down in. Okay. Now to get the seed out, I do this. Cut in and turn. Pops right out. Very easy. I don't know where I learned that, but it's been a lifesaver for many, many years. Again, just cut through and down and in. Try not to cut your finger. You can also do this right down the middle. So you have like a crosshatch. And what happens is you can either peel this like this, which I feel is sometimes a pain in the ass, to be frank. But it does look pretty. You can just kind of lay this on top. Or you can get a spoon. I don't have a spoon, and just kind of go down here along the, oops, that's why I don't do this as often. And just turn the spoon in, and you end up with a fantastic handful of these beautiful jade little cubes. So whatever's comfortable for you. Okay, the key though, when it comes to crazy wild hairdos, avocado, make sure you either squirt a lemon or a lime on top of that. I do have a fresh lime handy, and you don't need tons, just a slice, but just squeeze right over. Try not to get it in your cat's eye. And that's it. What I normally do is just a little sprinkle of nice Malton salt. Salt and avocado is unbelievably delicious. And now all I have to do really is just pick some cilantro. And what I do is I pick the leaves off and then I chop it. Otherwise I end up with stems, and some people can't stand the like texture of a stem in their mouth. So try to be mindful of who you're feeding. I mean, some people are absolute beasts and you can feed them anything. My family, for instance, I do like a lot of cilantro, so I'm gonna probably do like 20 stems here. And I won't make you watch me do that. But another thing I wanted to let you notice is, look at how turgid these are getting. These are actually standing up on their own, and before they were quite wilty. I mean, they weren't wilted, but they were not as strong as this, and they've only been in the water for like a half an hour. So definitely worth putting them in water. The key though is, if you want to make them last, if you're not going to use the whole bunch the first time you open it, just make sure that you change the water every single day, because you don't want bacterial growth, first of all. And second of all, you just want to keep them healthy and happy. People a lot of times say, oh, just put it in a glass of water, but they don't tell you change the water. And you end up with like this kind of like nasty slurry at the bottom. What you don't want is herbs that have absorbed tons of bacteria, because you're basically absorbing that yourself when you eat it, and it tastes horrible. So just, that's about half of what I want. So I'm gonna keep going, and then by that time my nachos should be done. Look at this hair, wowee. One more thing I will tell you is that I know some people are absolutely revolted by the idea of cilantro. And do you know that actually the flavor of cilantro, whether you love it or hate it, is genetic. It's actually a gene that we have that is either like a plus or minus, kind of is the best way to describe it, whether or not your taste buds are wired to like it or hate it, which I just find so fascinating. I'm a plant nerd anyway, so I mean, could you tell with like the Scrabble thing going on? So I think I'm done with that. Now I just have to wait for the nachos to get done, and I can top them and show you the finished product. Okay, it's time to take these out. They look really good. Can't wait to eat them. Oven off. So the fun part is that the outer edge has some color, and the cheese is starting to just turn a tiny bit scorched brown. The middle is still gooey, which is really nice. So now I'm just going to take some of the avocado, just put it down the middle. I like just making it look like a little pretty trail. I don't know. Chive and cilantro all over. This looks delicious. And a few extra leaves, why not? And the best part about nachos serve it on the tray you cooked it. A couple slices of lime. Lime's tucked into my sour cream. But basically, we're done. And this looks amazing. I'm really excited. So, sour cream with a couple lime slices, some nice salsa verde, and then my herbs and my avocado over the top. I can't resist this. That looks really nice. Is it possible that nachos are the best food? For me, they are. How could you not love this? Right, that's it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, let's serve dinner.